Right, so just wait to see those that want to join. Just give it about a minute and then we'll dive straight into it. I've just got to try and get some caffeine down me. But yeah, I hope everyone's okay. We've got another big week ahead of us in terms of some data being released. Yeah, what a big week it was last week. Tested our patience, truly. But it paid off, very much so. Going off past data, so obviously we've had the premium account up and running for nearly a whole year. Actually just have a few days, and we shall hit our first year having premium open. But going off last year, January and February were our biggest months. So those that are actually with us are obviously joining us at a good point. So don't know what it is, don't know what's in the water at this time of the year, but obviously it does something good to us. So big up. So yeah, massive week last week. Obviously we got the sell-off that we were talking about, which is great. So there's still a little bit more room in terms of a price drop in Bitcoin. Ideally, we do want to see that 32 to 30k touch. Obviously, a touch of that 100 moving average would be amazing. And if we see a good reaction off that, then that's good confirmation or a good indication that things do want to go back up. So we'll see how things play out in this week. We are going to kind of sit back and watch things for a little bit, and kind of wait until those high volume days to kind of get in the market. Things are more than likely to move quickly again going into the new week, and we will kind of describe as to why we think that. Well, we can dive into it right now. So obviously in last week's market update, just before, I think it was on Thursday, so just before the huge drop, obviously we talked about the two bits of negative news linked to crypto and Bitcoin. Now we are seeing even more, and obviously there's going to be a lot of people worried in terms of obviously a huge amount of money lost. You're right, Bogdan, how you doing, my man? Potentially, mate, potentially. We'll see how things play out. Obviously, we haven't got that much room in terms of kind of finding this next strong support. However, I do just want to touch, and in fact, let me just remove this stuff here because we don't need this anymore. It's broken through. Okay. Okay, we'll take all of that off. If we actually close beneath this 100 moving average, if we close beneath that 100 moving average, that is really not good news in terms of longevity. If that if price closes beneath that 100 moving average, we are looking like we're entering a bear market. So that is massive. It needs to hold that level. If it fails to hold that level and close above that 100 moving average, yeah, may as well start selling all of your crypto, or just literally shorting the market, or it depends the way you look at it really, or buy those dips, because a close beneath here is going to be taking you to the 200 moving average next, and then it'll. I don't see Bitcoin being that cheap, but you just never know. Yeah, this is a likely area for it to kind of hold support next, so that's what we're going to go with. I don't see Bitcoin coming down to 14 grand. That would be a bit too ridiculous. Just because obviously the institutionals and the involvement that the institutions have, I don't see it being that cheap. But again, expect the unexpected with crypto, so we shall stay vigilant. Yeah, so in terms of this 32 to 30k test, we could get something like this. Okay, another accumulation distribution sort of phase where orders fully get accumulated and then taken up. However, a lot of people have been shredded in this move, just because what's happened is they've been shredded on this prior move over here, gone long, got shredded, gone long again, and then got shredded. So these traders have been basically kind of in losses, trying to go long, and especially on this second move over here, because now they're trying to make all of these losses on the back on the previous one. However, they are now on the hype that this is going to the sky, breaking all-time highs, but they're looking at like TPs around this level over here. So they're putting in more money to chase these losses. So the impact of this short is much greater. So in saying that, we should see a good enough bounce, because there's going to be a lot of orders at this level. So fingers crossed it comes quick. We're kind of a little bit tired of these accumulation and ranging kind of zones. They've been happening for a while. However, again, this is a huge short, so it could take time to build up orders again for it to really go up. Or you can also look at it as a lot of liquidations have happened. There's not a lot of kind of people involved in this move, so there's not a lot of liquidity. Yeah, it can just kind of consolidate for a little bit and then really push up once orders have kind of been gathered. So we'll see how it plays out, but we are calling bottom between 32 and 30, so fingers crossed. So we're going to go over we are going to go over some economic calendar bits. What's this? Just stay love. Yesterday's leverage ratio was still very high. Okay. Yeah, I mean, people are going to use high leverage. I understand, obviously, the ratio. But it's still not kind of linking into the actual point that liquidity is going to be struggling. So obviously a lot of people are going to be liquidated without a doubt. It's a huge move. Naturally, the ratio is going to be high anyway. But what we're saying is that obviously the liquidity that was in on this move and this move, okay, is not the same liquidity on this move down. Because we've had one push up, second push up, people got shredded here, and now they've been shredded again whilst getting shredded on that move down as well. So a lot of these people, one, either just completely sacked off crypto and lost interest, or they're too scared to get back in, and go. So they're going to wait for a move, a strong move like that, to then do the same mistake and get in at these highs before it pulls back, right? So that's what we're saying in terms of liquidity. In terms of leverage ratio being high, yes. It's going to be high. People will be chasing their margins. Just for instance, even in the premium group, we had a few traders in terms, obviously, helping each other out in terms of what other groups are discussing, and they were calling bottom at 40k. So that there would be a lot of other groups around doing the same thing. So just imagine how many people got wrecked. So yeah. So if we go to the economic calendar now, let's let it load up. Oh, come on. The Wi-Fi is going to get sorted. We've just spoken to service provider. So hopefully we get what we wanted to show. So in terms of data points this week, Wednesday is the most important day. Yeah, so we're gonna go over this now. In terms of data points, we got data points coming in on Wednesday. So we got the Fed speech. Obviously, that is always huge. And then we have obviously the U.S. interest rates decision. So the Fed's interest rate decision, which could be huge again. We will go over. It's just going to take forever to load. We will go over some news as well, just some articles on Bloomberg, and then just go back onto the charts and just finish off in terms of the other charts that we kind of talk about. So we've got the total crypto market cap, Bitcoin dominance, the dollar, and all of that sort of stuff. Didn't take forever. Painful. But yeah, Wednesday is definitely a big day. So here we go. So we got a lot of PMI data points. Obviously, that is inflation. Obviously, CPI is kind of the important inflation that you kind of want to keep an eye on. A lot of consumer and business confidence coming out. We got I think European bonds coming out. So this is the important stuff. So that comes out in the evening time. But that's you definitely want to be watching these sort of meetings live is always really useful to kind of get a picture ahead of the time for the next kind of Fed meeting. Do I expect a small rally until the news comes in? Yeah, there's going to be a very potential slow rally. So normally it either goes one way or the other. Really, you either get a really strong bounce or a really huge wick. On the downside, obviously, if we're moving from top to bottom, and then we just kind of continue pushing up depending on the volume levels. It all depends on the volume levels that you kind of see at the bottom, but there will be probably a day or two or even three where prices just kind of push up. But we'll go over the sort of resistance levels that we're kind of looking at once price finds support, and then we can kind of get a better idea as to what sort of time frames we're looking at. What else we got? Yeah. So in terms of data points, this is quite important. Obviously, GDP growth is something that you kind of want to keep an eye on, and durable goods. That's linked to inflation, obviously. But yeah, this is the important stuff just here. I'm just going to check if we got anything else. Yeah. IFO climate could be important as well. Okay, so Russia fires back after the UK alleges was it Kiev or Kiev plot? Obviously, again, this is brewing up. This could be causing or could cause volatility within the dollar, which, as we all know, could be good, could be bad in terms of crypto. So but this is obviously something that will have to be looked on. It's basically Russia against the world, but obviously we know who's Russia's allies. That will potentially eventually come in as well. So we need to keep an eye on this and how it's kind of moving. May crashed. Okay, so in terms of testing a 30k, 8 or 10 times is way too many times. You want to see max 3 times being tested, really. Anything above 3, it's kind of getting a bit dodgy. So ideally, you just want to test it twice in that same move up. So you can get, so like for instance, something like this, okay, and then push up. You don't want to see it just continually testing. You want to see like a test, push up high, and then come all the way down, test again. This will solidify this level if this holds. It's been tested 1, 2, 3 times potentially. Okay, and these are strong levels of volume coming in at these levels, so there is a lot of buying interest. Okay, so if this holds, this will set a floor for quite long. But obviously we will be looking at potential sort of reversal in trend, so we will bring out a fib, and then we'll be looking for long-term resistance, or at least medium to long-term resistance at this level over here, just to see whether this move up is a bull trap and not actually just the continuation of this sort of bull run. So it was exactly what we done on this area over here. We kind of kept an eye on what was happening as price came up to that 786,618 level, which was this level here. Prices pulled back, but they actually confirmed this level over here as new support, which obviously gave it that push to go up higher. So we'll be looking for something similar to that, but 8 to 10 times of a test. Don't know whether you mean as in like these tests, and then these tests added together. If that's the case, then yes, but not at 8 times, 8 tests like on this move here. So obviously this was one move, this was another move, and this is going to be another move. So that's the case. Just gonna keep on. Okay, so to tame inflation, the Fed needs to get into your head. So this is all about the feeding of kind of planting those seeds before something actually happens. Okay, so this is a thing. You will realize it, especially when you start being very much more intact with the fundamental side of trading. The institutions do their own thing, and they obviously manipulate. They can manipulate either to exacerbate or to mitigate or minimize the impact of certain decisions. You need to understand that obviously these institutions got insider information, so they will plant seeds through news outlets, because who owns the news outlets? Majority of these institutions do. Okay, so they have power in these corporations. So in terms of obviously this headline, so to tame inflation, the Fed needs to get into your head. Okay, it's all about obviously putting some sort of fear and getting you guys, or getting America in this instance, to just relax on spending. So in whichever way they want to tackle it, in terms of feeding the seed, there's many ways, but this is a thing. They will do this. prior to huge decisions. These governmental bodies, they're 5 steps ahead of the game. These are the best of the best people that work for these kind of government bodies, so they know what they're doing, and obviously there's decent number of them in each country, and they all put their heads together, so a lot of stuff gets done ahead of time, and especially obviously after what we've kind of experienced in the past in terms of financial crisis, obviously the world wars. They need to be obviously coming up with contingency plans. They need to be stress testing the banking systems and the systems that they have in place, and making sure that they're kind of the best prepared for anything that's thrown to them. So Goldman sees risk Fed will tighten at every meeting from March. Okay, so seeds are going to get planted in this quarter, and then your interest rates will be spiked up. Okay, so this is basically the Fed allowing you to have time to decide what you want to do with this information that interest rates will be going up. Okay, so they're going to give you time rather than having a day where it's unexpected, interest rates are going up. Okay, on this day, oh shit, what do I need to do now? Okay, it causes panic in the market. They want to keep the panic to a minimal as much as possible, right? So we've got yeah, so Bitcoin chart hints at possible floor for slide. Got a little bit more room. However, obviously, we are at very close levels to very, very strong support, and two, very much oversold due to the huge selling off. Obviously, we got a sell off right towards the end of the week, running over the weekend, and now we're just seeing a tiny little pick up with very strong selling sentiment still. So we'll probably run into this week and then hopefully find some sort of support. If not this week, then definitely next week. China's capital battles to contain virus spread as Olympic looms. Obviously, this could be quite serious. Obviously, the Olympics are huge. It's a huge event in terms of having a lot of people in one place, and obviously it's winter, and things could just, well, they're susceptible to obviously spreading quite fast. So putting all those things together, it could kind of shake up China. So one thing, well, another thing to kind of keep your eye on as time kind of progresses. So we've got El Salvador just kind of to end. He's probably shitting his pants. So he's obviously going to try and calm down the markets, but we'll see how things go. But yeah, he's probably shitting his pants. He's lost a decent amount of money, but it's the game of investment. Okay, so now back to the TA, back to the stuff that a lot of you just kind of want to keep an eye on. But obviously, this is a pre-market analysis, so we go over everything that we are looking at for this week ahead. So just remember, Wednesday is your very much important day in terms of news. If you can watch that live Fed speech, that would be great. If not, we will keep you updated anyway. But yeah, so TA. So that was what was happening on. And can I just say, fuck TradingView. They are not giving us our reputation back. Literally because we have this on our screens, okay, or on our charts. They can fully go and do one. It's unfortunate, really. Their excuse was that apparently spammers come into TradingView, just post a whole load of charts with their links on and then leave. Even though obviously this is another year that we've purchased a full year up front. But hey ho, it is what it is. We'll just use their charts and post it on YouTube instead, so it's all good. And continue posting our URL on our charts, obviously. So continuing to look bearish anyway. Okay, huge amounts of sell side volume still coming in, even obviously towards the end of the week. But yeah, after this candle right here, it was all sell side. Okay. But this candle here was its chance to go up, and it didn't happen. Okay. So after this candle here, you should have been all short. This candle here was just a typical liquidate the shorts, getting in on here. Okay. Wicking it all the way up, capturing ball trapping, and basically squeezing out them shorts, and then just ripping it down to the other side. So realistically, this was your point. But yeah, so daily's still looking extremely bearish. Let's take these out. In fact, let me take this so far. Beautiful. Okay, so this is looking like we're going to come down here. So probably just stay at this pace, kind of a little bit slow. So the time for the Fed speech, I think it was 7 o'clock or 7:30 on Wednesday evening. I think it was 7 o'clock. I think the Fed's interest rate decision was at 7:30, something like that. But if you just type in daily FX economic calendar, you can find it on there. Yeah, you'll be able to follow it. So yeah, we're going to get a little bit of sluggishness here. Probably kind of build to this. Right, so we'll probably get something like this going into Monday. So Monday we'll probably potentially continue, and then maybe see something. Maybe Monday, maybe more likely Tuesday when big volume comes in, but then we'll get a break, push down here, another big push where we see a nice wick hopefully, and a push maybe to this level first, or all the way up to this order block just here. But yeah, getting a little bit of buying, buy side coming in, which is great. So people are slowly positioning themselves. But yeah, there'll be something like that happening, guys. It's already tapped into liquidity at the top, so we could see a continuation all the way down. But you can see that we're already getting buy side coming in slowly. So that's one import a buy, so they'll just average themselves in as we kind of come down. But that's the way we are looking. Total crypto market cap. Okay, always important, always important. It's more the case now, actually seeing how far away it's from a key level. So we're at this order block here, so it's got a little bit more room to kind of give. Okay, it is at a decent level, but I see it potentially even coming down lower. No, it can't come that low. That's a lot. Yeah. Ideally, you kind of want it somewhere around here, or even here. You don't want to see that bleeding out too much more. Obviously, Bitcoin isn't too far from the 100 moving average, so hopefully we just see a potential another little push down just to this level here, about 1.4 trillion, and then a boost up. If it comes down all the way to this 100 moving average, that's a bit far down. That's nearly 60% of the market just gone from top to bottom, which is a lot to be gone. What we got? Also got dollar index. Let's go a little bit lower. Holding. So could see a spike up. But again, we'll have to see what the news this week comes out like, and then we can have a better sort of idea. But we'll keep you guys updated once we have a little read of things tomorrow, just to give us a better idea as to what sort of data we should be expecting. So dollar still holding the level that we've been speaking about. So we could get a spike up, but we'll see. So obviously it's kind of holding to this sort of trend line here. So we'll see how things kind of react. Obviously a push up would give us that push down in Bitcoin and crypto, but a push down would give obviously the reverse effect. The way obviously that we're expecting news to come out this week isn't, so obviously putting measures in to tackle inflation, so try and decrease the spending that is occurring by increasing interest rates. Okay, so a way of kind of tackling that in terms of, okay, so now the money that I borrow is more expensive, or is going to be more expensive. Okay, I'm now going to look for other forms of sort of investment. Okay, so I'm going to go and put it into cryptocurrency, for instance. Okay, and they'll start buying it up. So we could have a nice little switch around. That would be ideal. Obviously, get that interest and new investment at that new level, and then well, as obviously the interest rate hikes occur. So this year will be extremely volatile. Obviously, with each rate hike, with each CPI release that comes out, there will be a lot of volatility. So in terms of shorts are still obviously pulling back a bit, so we could see obviously Bitcoin trending in that bearish flag that we just kind of drew out until it kind of finds support and then pushes back up. But longs are picking up, so people are buying up, which is great. So we'll see how things go. But yeah, guys, so in terms of that, that's us done. Have you guys got any questions? I'll leave a couple of minutes for you guys to type out anything that you might have. And then we will unfortunately, but fortunately, we'll have to love you and leave you. And we shall see you tomorrow for some more. But yeah, we'll give you a couple of minutes just to ask any questions. So on-chain data, yes and no. We shall be purchasing Glassnode, I think this week. So that will be useful for all the premium members, obviously, for us to get this Glassnode data. Obviously, we can kind of keep an eye on changes in sort of volumes, orders, and all the juicy stuff that the institutions kind of try and keep away from us all. So in terms, so we're only so at the moment we're obviously using. So obviously we're using. I can't remember the name of it. I'll try and find it. It's a public one, but we will be purchasing Glassnode this week. Yeah, it's about time. So we'll get that sorted for you guys. That's not a problem at all. But yeah, guys, okay. I'm gonna love you and leave yous, and then yeah, tomorrow's a new day. Tomorrow's a new first day of the new trading week. This is going to be a decent week. Fingers crossed. Volatility is still in the market and is going to become in true and fast. So let's all be ready for it. Thank you for listening, and we shall see you tomorrow. Take care. Thank you, Coin, and thank you, Bogdan. Thoroughly amazing. Yeah, we'll see you tomorrow. Take care.